Never let your players design your game. We have been working on the 10th anniversary edition of the Exploding Kittens board game, and we got all the way up to our second prototype where we're letting players play cards to build the board as they go. They're setting traps, they're putting down good things, they're putting down bad things, but they're building the board as they play the game. That sounds great when I say it out loud, and it's kind of awful in practice because players are not very good game designers. And if they design something terrible, it's no fun for anyone. As experience creators, we want to make this thing be as much fun as possible, start to finish. Players want the game to be as easy as it can possibly be so that they can win. There are certain things that the board has to do. You need to rely on certain parts of the board to behave a certain way, right? It has to start out easy. It has to end up harder. You always need the last spot on the board to be something bad, right? Because it's so close to winning, and you need to have a really nice booby trap right there at the end. If you let players define the board as you go, sometimes the tension actually dissipates because they've created a non-optimal board. But we do still want players to be able to sabotage each other and set those traps and form alliances and do all the fun stuff. So we thought, what if we had two boards? A board that had an easy start, a board that had a more complicated ending, a board that had twists and turns all the way along. And then we wanted to design a second version. The second version of the board we called the Hellscape. Hellscape was designed to be terrible. There were traps everywhere. There were bombs everywhere, exploding kittens everywhere. You did not want to try to advance in Hellscape because you're not going to do it. But what you are going to want to do is inflict that version of the board, inflict hell on the player who's in first place. But here's the problem. How the hell do you build that? You can't have players right here on the board and say, okay, now we're going to, remember where everybody is and pull them off and then swap boards and then put the, yikes, terrible. Nobody's going to put up with that. I would never put up with that. I wouldn't remember where everybody was. And even if you had some clever mechanism of like writing it down, now suddenly this game feels like homework. So I had this idea. Instead of this, what if we fundamentally rethink what a board is? Here's the first sketch. What if we had a board and there was a flap that moved forward and backwards and forwards and backwards, and it presented two versions of the game, the good side, the easy side, and the Hellscape side. I've never seen this in a game before, and I was really excited to try to build it. So let me show you what I built. Literally nobody outside of Exploding Kittens has ever seen this piece of cardboard. This is prototype number 3. Prototype number 3 started to build on this premise. What if we create the optimal board? There's some built-in booby traps, the exploding kittens. Everybody starts down here. That's really straightforward. These numbers just indicate how many cards you get to draw if you land on them. So this one would be draw 4 cards. There's these little shortcuts that let you jump ahead if you land exactly on these spaces. All of that's cool. And then what if you want to see Hellscape mode instead? What if you play a card that lets you flip the board? All right, check this out. Welcome to hell. Now all of a sudden we have a different board. In this version, suddenly everything's worse. Suddenly all of these little things that used to be ladders are now chutes. Now when you land on these things, you're going to move back down. One of the things I'm most proud of is whatever mode you're in, let's say you got pieces here and here and here, I don't need to remove these pieces to change the boards. I just flip it. And there they are, still right in their original positions. Believe it or not, that took a ton of engineering. And version 3 was good, but there were still problems. And the most important one is actually something we've talked about a ton. Before I even tell you what it is, I want you to go back and figure out what is wrong with this game. I showed it to you. The problem was actually right there. And if you pay attention to some of my earlier videos, you will be able to identify it precisely. I didn't see it at the time because I didn't have these videos to reference back to, but you do. So go look at them, tell me what's wrong with the game, put it right down below in the comments, and I will tell you that the next version of the game, version 4, was very nearly final. Version 5 is the version we shipped. So there's only one step to go, only one set of tweaks left before we end up at our final game, the version that is being printed right now that's going to be on store shelves to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Exploding Kittens. I hope you're having as much fun as I am. I love making this stuff. I hope you're learning something from it, and I hope it's helping you in your creative projects. So more than anything, please go make something.